Today I am reviewing your model airports. In this 8th episode of 12 episodes in total, I will be taking a look at model airports that some of you created. Be sure to comment down below which 2 model airports deserve a spot in the grand finale. Grand finalists will be announced on Instagram. We start in London where we have Heathrow Terminal 5A. And when we compare it to real life, he's done an excellent job at recreating the actual terminal. From the big terminal design to the small details like the red stripes on the jet bridges, he included everything. He's got a very nice collection of British Airways model aircraft parked around the terminal. Around every aircraft is some ground service equipment, like these baggage carts and this pushback duct. I also like the tiny details of the yellow cones. Other nice details are the light poles, which seem to be 3D printed, and on the edge of the airport he has got this red and white fence, which he simply made using paper and red marker. Overall, a very nice airport to begin with and an awesome recreation of Heathrow Terminal 5A. Welcome to Groen International Airport in the USA. I like this airport for its unique layout with the diagonal runway inside a square airport. On one side he has got the terminal, with place for mainly wide-body aircraft and some narrow-body 737s on the side. And here on the top he has got some remote stands, of which there are also 3 in the middle here. When we take a closer look at the terminal, we see some 3D printed jet bridges, I think, and the terminal is also 3D printed. My big tip for your airport is 1. The runway numbers. There is one general font which is used for all the runway numbers. The easiest way to find out how you should design your runway numbers: first I asked ChatGPT which airport has runway 23, like Madeira Airport. Then we go to Google Earth and we move to Madeira Airport. And when we then take a closer look at the runway numbers, we see that the runway numbers are in this shape. If you want to then match it exactly with the sizes, you can measure the length of, for example, the 2, which is 21 meters, which would be about 4 centimeters in the 1 to 400 scale, and the width would be about 1.5 centimeters. Like so, you can design runway numbers exactly the way that they are made in real life. Also, you can add a windsock and ILS box to your airport in the modeling grass along the runway. Welcome to Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, where we have gates E22 and 24. This person had not much space and only some paper and cardboard, but with that he made a nice recreation of the 2 aircraft stands. When we take a look at Google Earth and we zoom into the E22 and 24 gates, we see that he nicely recreated them. The only thing really missing would be the light poles, which stick out over here. And what you could have done was, with some grey paint the cardboard surface before you started making all of the ground markings. Though for anyone who wants to build a tiny airport because he doesn't have a lot of space, take a tiny project like these 2 aircraft stands, take a look at Google Earth, simply measure the sizes, and like so, build a nice and tiny model airport. Here is Kuopio Airport in Finland, a 1 to 200 scale model airport, which seems like a tiny regional airport, featuring 3 aircraft stands, a terminal with an ATC tower, where he added some nice details. The 1 to 200 scale is way bigger than the 1 to 400 scale, as the size of the models is twice as big. That means the ground service equipment can be way more detailed. In the background of this Finnair model, you can see that he also added an ILS box and some trees in the background. The terminal looks neat, and he built it himself out of paper. I like how he added some lights on there as well. And these tiny white foam blocks give some texture to the roof. The only thing which I find interesting is the choice of background. It seems to be the fleet of Finnair, as it are all different kinds of aircraft types. Which isn't wrong in any sense, but I would have chosen for maybe a Finnish landscape background. Next we have a banger of an airport, namely Fina de Fontan International Airport. This 1-400 scale airport features iconic classical airplanes from the 1990s, which he beautifully displayed on his nicely lit up airport. Starting with the terminal on the right, we see 4 aircraft stands with Air France aircraft and a very cozy and warm lit up terminal, which he has done by installing some yellow LEDs inside of the terminal. When we then move to the other side where we have the remote stands, we see a nice lineup of 747s, lit up by the light poles which are actually working. On the other side he has got some more MD-11 and iconic classic models. I like how he in the middle has some modeling grass with trees on it and a mesh fence. Another detail are the branding on the ground service equipment, like the letters on the stairs and the Cargo Lux branding of this truck. And on the other side of the airport he has got a cool cargo lineup. I like how all the noses of the airplanes have been opened up, and inside of the Beluga Airbus an aircraft engine is being loaded. I've never seen this kind of detail and this type of ground service equipment before. So if you'd like to share it, comment down below where you've got this aircraft engine from and also this long loader. I'd love to know. Overall, we're looking at a fantastic detailed model airport. You could add some more ground service equipment, cones and tiny details, but for the lighting part, this is already my pick to proceed to the grand finale. Really nice images, really nice airport, really good job. Congratulations. We go to Sweden where we have Umeå Airport, which is a 1-200 scale representation of the actual airport in Sweden. What I like is that because it's 1-200 scale, he has some really detailed vehicles driving around this aircraft, with actual airport workers and also actual bags being loaded into the airplane. Here the same for this pushback tug, which already looks very detailed, and of course actual passengers on the airport, which are boarding this SAS A320. When we then move to the side of the airport, he has got some N scale, 1-160, so not too far off the 1-200 scale, buildings and trucks driving around. Which is really clever because the N scale is mainly focused on trucks and buses and other vehicles, and it also comes with some buildings. So it's really cool to see the branding of all of the delivery trucks right here. So if you can learn one thing from this airport, it is that you can combine the 1-200 scale airplanes with N scale 1-160 vehicles. Welcome to Phuket International Airport in Thailand. This 1-400 scale airport is located at a very tropical place, very close to the beach and the sea, which he very nicely recreated. Here on the right, along the edge of his airport, he's got a small sea, a beach with some beachgoers, then some scenery, and then comes the model airport. I like the variation in ground colors on the model airport, with some darker and lighter tints of grey. Taking a closer look, we see very nicely detailed jet bridges, and in the background the terminal, which I think is made out of paper and he did himself. On the other side of the terminal he has got some remote stands where he has cargo aircraft parked. Around them is a nice amount of ground service equipment. And I like how you took your airport outside to take some nice images in the sun. Really an awesome job with this Phuket International Airport. Moving on, we go to Quarteira International Airport in Faro, Portugal. A 1-400 scale airport on a base that I've never seen before, as it is made of styrofoam. Good visible when we take a close-up look. And the choice for this I find very interesting. He painted it black, added the ground markings with some paint pens, but I'm really not sure what the idea behind it is and why you just didn't choose wood. Of course, it is really easy to cut it into the shape of his desk here. And I like how you added the modeling grass with the tiny grass tufts, an ILS box, taxiway signs, and a nice curvy looking terminal. though the styrofoam base was really the reason why I wanted to show this airport, as it's very unique and interesting why he chose for this. Welcome to Toulouse Blagnac Airport in France, a 1 to 400 scale airport which I want to show to you because of the awesome looking terminal. It's a very long but thin model airport, and on one side he has got a long terminal. The terminal is lit up with I think a LED strip on the roof inside, and inside of the terminal he added a nice interior using paper. Because it's a LED strip he can change the color of it, and in the dark he made it white. Really an awesome job on the terminal side of things. And on the other side and on the aircraft stands he's done an awesome job as well. The ground markings look really nice. I like how he used some weathering. All in all, we're looking at a very complete model airport. My only advice for you would be that you could add some light poles in between all of the aircraft stands. But for the rest, we're looking at a very nice model airport. Here is Toronto International Airport in Canada. A big and very busy model airport with a bunch of models on air. And also an interesting layout, as on the left here he has got a cargo section which directly runs onto the airport runway, and on the right he has got a huge passenger section which with some taxiways also leads to the runway. The cargo section looks neat and I like the branding of, for example, the FedEx. At the runway he used some nice scenery. The trees and colorful flowers, a windsock and an ILS box. Really awesome work. Going to the passenger section then, we see a real Toronto Pearson Airport ATC tower and really a lot of aircraft models here, all waiting in queue to line up and depart from the runway. All in all, a clever and interesting airport layout, but a great job overall. Welcome to Eastern Illinois International Airport in the USA, where as an overview picture he displayed his whole Darren model aircraft collection. I've never seen so many Darren aircraft in a single collection, and it looks really good. There is a nice variety of models coming from all over the world. And when we take a look on the airport, we see some nice US airlines like this United and Allegiant standing at this circular terminal. The ground surface is the GSC is 3D printed. And when we go over to the runway, I really like how neat you have made the markings of the red and white runway numbers and the added smoke upon touchdown of the aircraft tires on the runway. Overall, a really nice collection of aircraft models, so a really fantastic job right here. And finally, here we have Bayville Airport in Sydney, Australia. A terminal with some aircraft stands in front of it. He built the terminal himself out of wood, and I like the gate numbers on the terminal and also the modeling grass in front of it. In the dark, this terminal lights up using an LED strip, which looks really cool. The ground service equipment on his airport he made himself out of paper, and I like how you added the Qantas branding on there. Overall, a very decent airport to round off with. So with that, we have reviewed another 12 airports. I chose Fina de Fontan International Airport as the first Grand Finalist chosen in this video, but there are 2 more spaces left for you to choose. So comment down below the 2 airport names which you think deserve a spot in the Grand Finale. Winners will be announced on Instagram. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. Please consider to like and subscribe, and then I will see you in the next video.